We have been cruising on the Sun Princess for the past 7 days. We took the first week-long sailing out of Fort Lauderdale after the ship arrived to the United States. And I wanted to come and talk to you about some of the things that I loved and hated about this ship. This is my 23rd cruise with Princess, so I would say I do have a lot of experience to compare to. And this ship is a huge departure from the standard Princess cruise experience. But in my opinion, most of the changes are fantastic. I think this ship has some growing pains that it's going to go through, especially transitioning from a European market to the United States. But all of the fundamentals and elements are in place to have this ship lead the way toward a whole new style of cruising for Princess that I think many people are going to love, including myself. So I'm going to start with the things that I loved, and I have about 5 things for both. We sailed in an interior cabin, and on first impression, we walked in and I thought, wow, this is tight. I have sailed in every type of cabin, from an interior to a penthouse suite across several cruise lines, and it's not much different square footage wise, but it just felt a little bit more narrow and compact than other Princess interior rooms that I've sailed in. But as we started unpacking, it turned out that this was super efficient design for storage. We, being on board for a week, were able to spread out in the closet. We had drawer space that went unused. We had cubby holes we didn't use. And at the end of this cruise, I feel like I am so impressed with their design and efficiency with the storage in our cabin. And I don't think that an interior is too small. I will come back to that when I get to the things I hated, though, because there is one thing about the cabin that is difficult. But I've heard this across different cabin categories. I don't think it's isolated to the interior room. I loved the water pressure in our shower. That was better than at our house. I mean, usually you will get like a little trickle of water, and my hair, you need a lot of water pressure to wash it and have an efficient shower, and this water pressure was the best I've ever had. Also, a first for Princess was that they put shower doors rather than curtains in these bathrooms, and it makes a huge difference. First of all, in how it looked, the experience within the shower. It's nice to have a glass door rather than a shower curtain sticking to you. It's really, I hope they change that, and every time they do a dry dock, I hope they will convert to shower doors. The second thing that I loved about this ship was the dome. It's a brand new concept and design, and they have these cushioned chairs that are equal or better to what I have experienced in the Sanctuary before. It's interesting because this ship, just the week before we got on board, transitioned to Sanctuary Collection, so you can't reserve a day in the Sanctuary the way that I usually do and love for a couple of days or even a full sailing. I love to go up there. Well, that's not an option on this ship, and that's the first time Princess has done it, and it will also be the case on the Star Princess. But it was interesting because on embarkation day, we went and sat up in the dome in these luxurious chairs and enjoyed our afternoon. Well, we noticed that the chairs in front of us in the next row were being filled with people who had gone to the Sanctuary and collected their Sanctuary Collection bag. They were receiving like a swag bag. And for some reason, they left the Sanctuary and were coming to take seats in the dome. Those chairs are so comfortable. I feel like it's a great pacifier for people like me who would have preferred to be able to go to the Sanctuary, but now we have this option which doesn't cost anything other than waking up in time to claim a seat. Another thing I really loved about the dome was the evening experience. Around 11:15 every night, it transitioned into a nightclub, and it was like a VIP lounge nightclub experience that you just went in and all the lights changed to like blue, green. They had reflections off of the ceiling. So if you looked up, it appeared that there were ripples of water on the dome ceiling. The final thing that I thought was so cool about the dome was the indoor-outdoor pool. And I know that it's a first for Princess Cruise Lines, but I also believe it is a first of all cruise ships to have an indoor-outdoor pool so that you can get into the pool in the Seaview Terrace area and swim in under this little doorway to the dome space. That was a really cool innovation. Third thing I love about this ship is the cocktails. They are the best cocktails I have ever had anywhere in the world. I mean, the attention to detail in curating every single cocktail that's on the menu is really amazing and impressive. There are dehydrated limes and oranges as garnishes. They have blueberries, mint leaves, all kinds of these fresh garnishes. I truly have never had a better cocktail than the ones that I've seen on this ship. The Bellini's bar, especially, my favorite there is called this Scarponi, I think is how you say it. Oh, it's just so beautiful. They have crystal cut glasses with gold rims on them. So the attention to detail in the serving vessel as well as in the cocktail itself is just top tier. The only thing I would be able to compare this to in quality of cocktail is the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, where prior to this cruise ship, that would be where I felt like I've had the most elaborate and beautiful cocktails of my life. I also really like the new elevator setup. They have been somewhat divisive, but by the end of this week, I think that a lot of the people who were hesitant to accept them understand it more now. It's just that when you select what floor you want to go on, you need to pay attention to what elevator bay it tells you to go to. Because if you hit the floor you want and then you just wait and get onto the elevator that opens next, you're not going where you think you are. And so I think a lot of people were frustrated because they didn't realize they had to pay attention to that. But after shows ended and the elevator bay area fills up with a ton of people trying to go to their next location, that is a very efficient way to filter people into the right elevator and get that place cleared out quickly. I was really impressed by that. The Catch by Rudy is the one specialty dining that we ended up going to on this sailing. That was where we spent my birthday, and it was fantastic. I think that their attention to detail in all of this service plating, they had a fish-shaped water jug on your table when you arrived. They had I don't know what the dish was, but it came out in a crab-shaped thing. So you would take the back of the crab shell off to reveal the food that was inside. We didn't order that, so I'm not sure what it was. But we also went for the upcharge seafood tower, kind of just like an elevated dish on ice with clams, mussels, shrimp, lobster claw. It was decadent and it was so beautiful. And it was an additional fee of, I want to say $45 or $35. Completely worth it in my opinion. It's not something that's necessary if you want to just do the specialty dining. That itself was fabulous. But if you're wanting to impress someone, it's a special occasion, it's a date night or something, that's a nice little way to step up the experience. But we had such attentive servers in that venue, and from the moment we sat down, we had, I think, 4 different servers talking to us. We had Craig, who was a wine master. He tailored what he served us as drinks with what we were having to eat. So I had a fish dish and he brought champagne. John had lobster and steak, so he had a red wine. That was really nice. And the guy came and just checked on us every step of the way during that meal. So it was perfect. My experience with the Catch by Rudy as a specialty dining restaurant was 10 out of 10. I think it was fabulous. I would love to go back there again. The last thing that I want to mention as a huge love is they have luxurious seating, just little nooks that you can go and relax in all over the ship. If you see where I am right now, I didn't even find this area until this afternoon. We were walking by and I said, oh my goodness, I have been using the interior of the ship every time that we pass this area. So I didn't know that they had these huge cushioned loungers. They've got rows and rows of them, tons of capacity. Back to my point about I love the sanctuary. I feel like they have created kind of a sanctuary feel throughout the ship in a complimentary setting, and you can just sit and watch the sun go down like we're doing now and feel like you're in a really first class environment, and it's wonderful. Like I said at the beginning, I love this ship. I would put this at one of the top ships in my list of cruises I want to go on again. Let me know what you think about the Sun Princess, and if you're going to be sailing on her, I'll look forward to the comments.